again, this is where the market's so counterintuitive. We heard recession, consumers in trouble, record low savings rate, record high credit card debt. Seems all bad. What you're about to see is a video snippet from inside the boiler room. Every single morning before the open of the US stock markets, I analyze dozens of stocks and then decide on the trades that we're going to look at for that day with dozens of traders. We all get together, execute trades, chat some, and make some money together on a Zoom conference call. Go to thepatterntrader.com/club to find out more. One of the things that I'm looking at today that I think is kind of low-hanging fruit is American Express. So again, this market is so difficult. Because on one hand, you see evidence of something that, looks like it could be turning. On the other hand, you could hit this thing here and go all the way back down. But I do think, again, there's just room to come back to these retest areas. So whether, American Express goes, down long-term or whatever, I think that there is enough support in here where the price momentum for the short term is going to carry this higher and possibly much higher. I'm looking at American Express, and again, just like the indexes, you got this coil. For 2 weeks, you've been going sideways, and it's like pushing on a string. You try and go lower, you can't go lower, can't go lower. Well, if it can't go one way, it's got to go the other way. Now we broke out and we had this nice little key reversal yesterday. So to me, it doesn't matter what happens. Now we have a risk reward setup. So I can use this key reversal to say, okay, I'm going to get in anywhere here, preferably on a lower opening, and use the low as my risk. So, if I can get in somewhere here, I get a very small risk for what could be a much bigger upside. So it's all about risk and reward. And, we see all kinds of bottoming patterns right here. This kind of huge double top bottom here. Then you got this inverted head and shoulders. So there's, a bottoming area right in here. You have another double bottom in here. So this is an area of accumulation, it looks like. Every time it kind of gets in here, it stops going down. And I think it's got a pretty good chance of at least, retesting this downtrend. And then who knows? Could break through or, go that way. But I think for the next week or two, I think we're going to be looking at a slightly more constructive market as the S&P works its way to 4,100. And so I think there's a good chance for this thing to go from 152 to 160. Amazon, again, like Zoom, these places, these things look like they've really been punished. And, I don't know how much more there is left in the tank on the downside. So this is like Zoom too. You kind of have this descending triangle, and now you're knocking on the door of a breakout. Now, the question is whether it's a fake out or a breakout. Do we come up here and then go back lower? Or, is this something that can have some legs? It's kind of another trend line that comes in right here. So it looks like it could certainly bang up into, close to 95 before it hits that. But I don't know. It's hard to see these things kind of like now going and making new lows. There's this narrative that the S&P is going to 3,200 and it looks like it needs to on the chart, but there also looks like, these things are. So this is kind of the pattern that I'd look at in Amazon. I think it's going to come up here, 92.3, and then, probably should even get outside here. And then the question is, does it sustain or does it, roll? But this is the pattern I would look at. I would look at this as an inflection point right here. Certainly looks like it's got enough horsepower to get there. And then, you know, do we bang here and then go back down? Or is this something of a breakout? This does not look like a pattern that is going to be sustainable. This would have to come up and, you know, put on some other things. So I think you might be able to get a jump out of here, but I don't think it's likely to be sustainable. You know, I see these guys here as impediments. So I think Amazon, you could probably trade the dips right now, but I would just use this as, you know, a trading vehicle. Every couple bucks, take your profits. So, you know, again, this is where the market's so counterintuitive. We heard recession, consumers in trouble, record low savings rate, record high credit card debt, seems all bad. And yet these markets look so constructive. I mean, this thing's about to break out. Now, this could be just a huge supply area. You know, this could be just an overhead supply area, and, you know, we could turn down from here. So you are kind of in this now, this area where, you know, I think you're at resistance. So this thing's been a huge move. Let me just kind of peel back and look at this thing. I mean, you know, everything's kind of breaking out north. So, you know, we pulled forward a lot of damage, and now, I mean, this thing is breaking out. This is a huge pennant. And, you know, you broke out, you had the fake out, now you've made new highs. And now the question is, you know, how does it kind of act up in here in this area? There is, you know, an overhead here, but it looks like the path of least resistance is higher. This thing's broken out. So this is the conundrum of this market. It's you don't know how far to trust something. And that's why you just got to look at the price and go with the price. Hey, if you would like to trade alongside me every day and join our most prestigious program, then head over to thepatterntrader.com/club for more information.